Hello. Let me know who's here. Welcome. Happy Monday, the last Monday in 2020. We're here. We're breathing. We're making the best of the times. Greetings. Greetings. Thank you for joining. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Let me know if you're here. Give a shout out. It's really good to be here again, continually, for as long as it takes to get us through. I know we're all excited about welcoming a new year and all of the high hopes that we have for it to improve our situation on many. Hello, welcome. Hi, everybody. So glad you're here. Hey, Judy. Hello. Good morning. Hi, Ray. So glad you're here. Okay, we'll get started. Greetings. Welcome, everybody. I'm Annie Moyer. This is Sun and Moon Yoga's YouTube channel. It is Monday, December 20 something, 7, 8. And I am thinking about space and light. So we're just around the corner from the winter solstice, and the days are in fact getting longer, but it still feels like the days are pretty short. It's still getting dark early, and the cold contributes to that feeling of darkness in the solidly placed in winter with a couple months yet to go before it feels like winter will lift its veil of cold and dark. And I'm thinking about light because of all of the excitement that's been happening in the stars and the planets. And at the same time, the space that we have available to us is still fairly constricted. So it's not yet safe to venture out and expand our presence in the world and with each other. We've still got many months to go before space in that form is available to us. So as I'm thinking about light and space, whereas on the surface of things, external to our own forms, our own existences, it may feel like space and light are in short supply. And, and also, if we turn our awareness inward, as yoga calls upon us to do, and we understand the inner workings of the machinery of our bodies and the fanciful potential of our minds, we might discover that there is ample space and light inside. So, in terms of space, whereas the body may feel at first glance, at first notice, like a dense collection of bone and tissue and muscle and flesh, in fact, the atoms that make up our physical form are incredibly spacious. I read in a book once that if you scaled up one oxygen atom so that the nucleus of that atom was the size of a raspberry, that the electrons that swarm around that nucleus would be the equivalent distance of 2 football fields away. And if you think about how many trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms we have in the body, that is a lot of vast empty space. So we are so incredibly buoyant. We are so incredibly um, light and spacious that uh, that we're able to exist and hold ourselves up against gravity on Earth. If every atom was collapsed and that space was contracted down into nothingness, we would be so heavy we would fall through the surface of the Earth. So we, in fact, are spacious, even though in these times it might not feel like we have very much space around us and that we have to stay contracted and small in our daily lives. No, we don't. Inside is where the answer is. Likewise, with light, whereas in this darkest winter that probably we've ever known as a society, as a culture, the lights that are shining in these bright, beautiful winter stars are in fact made up of the same compounds, the same elements that exist inside of us. So every molecule of oxygen and nitrogen and iron and calcium and phosphorus that is inside our bodies came from those glistening stars above. So if you think on literal momentary terms and you could look inside your own body, I imagine it's pretty pitch dark in there. However, we know scientifically that we are filled with shining, glistening light that came from the same gases and dust that blanket the sky in these winter nights. So if we might come to our mat and do a movement practice that touches into the idea of all of the space and light that live inside of us, might help get us through this time. So join me on the mat if you'd like. We're going to begin standing. With your feet a little bit wider than your hips. And take a moment to feel the grounded soles of your feet rooting down. And then from the arches, rising up the inner legs into the groins and pelvis and lifting up through the torso, setting some aloft awareness in the lungs and the heart, and broadness in the shoulders, and a lift up the back of the neck through the crown of the head. Just pause here, take a breath. And then on the next inhale, sweep your arms up. And on the exhale, fold forward, hinging at the creases of the hips and the groins, the tops of the thighs. Let the torso cascade down. Let the head and neck release. Let your arms release. And you can either put your hands on some blocks or fingertips to the floor, or grab your elbows. And we're just dangling. We're just dangling here. And as we dangle, then we can sway from left to right and bend alternating knees. And as you inhale, breath arrives inside, and you might turn your mind's eye inward and experience space and light inside. Swinging to the left, swinging to the right. And then after your next exhale concludes, pause for a moment and either put your hands on something out in front of you, blocks or a ledge or a table or the seat of a chair, or you can put your hands on your hips and bend your knees as you start to sink toward a squat. As the sitting bones drop, lift the heart up forward, and then release from that squat, lift the hips, hang the head, You can inhale as you sit into the squat and exhale as you lift the hips straight and the legs drop the head. And just continue like that for a few rounds. Lots of options for where you put your hands. My recommendation is to put them somewhere on something that's steady, whether some prop outside of you or just on your hands on hips or thighs. Just simply breathing, just simply shifting, maneuvering, because space and light are tremendously maneuverable. And I think it's really valuable right now when so much doesn't feel maneuverable, when so much feels non negotiable, like stay put, right? That it's really worthwhile to explore the maneuverability of all of that space and light inside. Okay. Next time you come into the straight legged, wide footed fold, we're going to shift the feet over to one side. And I've got blocks in my hand, so I'm just going to take them with me. So one foot turns out sideways, and the other heel kicks back, and the knee bends, and I'm coming into a lunge. And now the maneuverability is going to take me forward and back within this lunging shape. As the hips come forward, you can lift your heart and draw the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other on your upper spine. And as the hips shift forward, let the shoulder blades spread apart. Let the head hang back and forth. Steady breaths. Long, spacious, light-filled. We are breathable beings, which means we are not static, we are not dense, we are not solid, and where and who and what we are today is bound to change. And then next time the hips come forward, lift up the back knee, put the heel back down, and then shift your feet over and over and over and walk your hands and blocks and whatever else you're using to support yourself to the other side. Spinning the heel up, drop the back knee down, and then back and forth. The breath is this ongoing gift from the stars that feeds the space and light that exists already inside of us and maintains it so we can go about our humble lives in the face of all of this challenge. Few more shiftings forward and back. And then the next time the hips come forward, pause there, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, walk your hands around in front of you again. Shift the feet so your toes are pointing forward, your heels are down on the ground again. Walk the feet a little closer to each other, just a little bit. And then we'll come in and out of the squatting again. You might come a little lower. And then you might walk the feet a little closer yet to each other and maybe come a little lower. Again, hands on anything that helps support you. And the squat only goes as far down as the knees dictate. So let the most vulnerable part of your physical form be in charge of the depth and range of your movement, as opposed to your ego or some intellectual notion of what it's supposed to look like or supposed to be. That's meaningless in the face of what the body needs and what the body's capable of. You'll notice also that as I come into the squat, I'm lifting my heels up away from the floor because it feels better to me that way. All right, next time you come down to whatever degree of squat is supportable, sustainable for your knees and maybe your hips, take a breath. So you could be here down low, you could be up high with the hips and your hands on the seat of a chair. So any amount, any degree is appropriate. Then whatever your hands are on, center one hand and then lift the other arm up so you're coming into a gentle twist with the upper torso. And then side to side. Breath to breath. Perhaps breathing in as you reach up and breathing out as you release back down. If there's any part of your body that's feeling like it's not getting enough space or light, then change something. Come up higher. Don't twist as deep. Reach a little more gently. Steady a little bit more with the rooted pelvis as you make these gentle twists. And then pause at center. And then you can widen the hands and lift the hips and widen the feet again. And then hang the head and let's just sway again, holding on to your own wrists or elbows or hands on your hips, swinging to the left, swinging to the right, bending alternating knees. And as you release the burden on the spine to be holding itself up against gravity, you can conjure an image of space and light. Maybe you could even be fanciful about imagining that the stars are shining, glistening brightly inside of you. All of those elements that were derived from the combustion of gases and the falling of dust into the earth and then scooping up into some life form that became you. So spacious, so bright, so pliable, so precious. Pausing at center for a breath in and out. And then shift the feet again. Turn over to one side. Keep the back heel on the ground. And then rise up. Hands on your hips. Bend your front knee. And then the hand that belongs to the back leg, take it down as the arm gets straight And do a big backstroke of the arm as you reach it up and then back, and pause when the arm is parallel to the floor. Release the other arm and you're in a warrior pose. And then do the same backstroke with the back arm all the way around. And as you make these backstroking movements, you can shift the upper torso along with it. So as the arm comes down and forward, the heart can turn to the side. And as it comes up and back, the heart can turn back to face your forward open space. Do that a few times. And then pause and soften the arms and release. And then straighten the leg. And then bow down, bend your knees a little bit as you come forward into the fold and the hang and the sway. Just a few times before we go into the other side. And then pause. Bend the knees a little bit. Roll up and then turn to the other side, hands on your hips. Release the back arm down by the back leg. And then give it a big back stroking circle until it lands parallel to the floor. Release the other arm out and then re-engage the back stroking circles. It's not wrong to do a forward stroke, right? You can try it both ways. My preference for me is the backstroke because it helps me feel like I'm opening through the chest. And you might have a different experience. And welcome to yoga and all of its glorious gifts that give us permission to find what's right for ourselves. Breathing in and breathing out, and then shifting the torso to gently to the sideways angle and to the open forward space. One more scoop around and then pause and release and straighten the leg, turn the feet forward, bend the knees a touch again and fold down. Release the head, the neck, and swing. Sometimes I like to do the swinging without bending alternating knees. Straight legs, it's a different sensation, a little more stretch in the hamstrings than in the groins. And then pause at center. Turn the feet again to the first side. If you've got blocks handy, you can bring them with you. Lift the back knee and then drop the knee down. From here, raise the torso. Inhale, reach up, take the arms back and down. So now we're doing a double backstroke with both arms moving at the same time, opening the heart, broadening the collarbones, releasing the arms around and around, around and around. And then release down. Tuck the back toes, straighten the back leg, Bring the heel to the ground. Straighten the front leg as much as it's available and just fold down over the front leg. And breathe. You can bring a little bit of perky lift to the energy of the back leg by pressing the outer edge of the foot down, lifting the arch, watching the ankle bone rise, and then feeling energy rise all the way up the inner leg to the groins. And now we'll go around to the other side. So you can just walk your way around, shift the feet, doot, 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 and then release the back knee down, the new back knee. You have a new front leg facing a new direction. Rise up and initiate the double backstroke. If we were swimmers, this would be like a reverse butterfly stroke. Breathing, welcoming light and space. And if somewhere at some point feels tense or contracted or dark or heavy, then pause a moment, give that some attention, give that some breath. See what's possible to shift around it, away from it or into it, to lighten it up some way, somehow. All right, release hands down onto whatever is supporting your hands. Straighten your back leg. Bring the heel to the floor, straighten your front leg, and hang down. Bring a little life into the back leg by perking up the arch of the foot and rooting the outer edge of the foot down. So we're not concerned here with squaring the hips or which position the torso is occupying relative to the legs. We're just here in a simple fold. All of those details right now don't matter as long as your body feels safe and your breath is accessible, which usually those things go hand in hand. If your body isn't safe, your breath won't be as accessible. And as you next exhale, lift up the back heel, spin the toes of the foot so they point forward. Drop the back knee down, and then release the front foot back so you're on your hands and knees now. Release your hips towards your heels. And if you have blocks or something under your hands, you can shift them away and come to child's pose. And breathe. Always support your knees and your hips here, putting some soft padding behind or underneath, however you need it. And then slowly rise back up onto your hands and knees. Shift your knees to the side. Bring one hip down. Swing your legs around in front of you. Simple cross-legged seat. Take a long, steady breath as you reach your arms up. Tip over to one side. Stretching the lateral torso. Back up with both arms. Long breath in. Over to the other side. Both arms reach up. Exhale, a gentle twist to one side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, gentle twist to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Float your arms down. Take an easy forward bow. Any amount is appropriate. Release the back of the neck, gently tucking the chin. Perhaps your elbows would rest on your inner thighs. If you have your blocks handy, perhaps you use them as extra support over which to fold. Oh, that feels nice. I like it. I'm keeping it. Stay close to your breath. Stay close to your awareness of all of the space inside and all of the light that shines, even when things feel contracted and dark. And come back up. And then pause, sitting tall, spacious, bright, filled. Take a few breaths. And bring your palms together in front of your heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. May you experience the light and space that inhabits you and that you inhabit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace to all. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you all soon. I'll see you in the new year. Take care, everybody.